If you clicked on this video, you're looking to lose your first 20 pounds of fat as fast as possible. And I get it, maybe your clothes aren't fitting right for a while now, you feel sluggish, you're tired of carrying all this extra weight, maybe you have an event that you gotta get ready for, and you wanna see results fast. Normally, I'd recommend a slower, more sustainable approach, but there is a way to get this done fast for those who are willing to put in the work. And in this video, I'm gonna give you a clear plan for how to lose those 20 pounds very fast, along with realistic expectations so you know exactly what you're up against. I'm also going to help you calculate your calories and macros so you can get started on this as soon as the video is done. Now let's get one thing straight. Being 30 pounds overweight and being 100 pounds overweight is a totally different situation, and your starting point determines how soon you can expect to get rid of those first 20 pounds. If you're sitting between 30 to 40% body fat or you're higher, you're in a prime spot to see rapid results because the more body fat you have, the faster you can lose it without as many negative consequences. So if you're in this category, forget about losing a pound a week. You can expect to lose anywhere between 2 to 4 pounds, so 0.9 to 1.8 kilos each week. Now, if you're in the 20 to 30% body fat range, you got less body fat to lose, but results can still be pretty fast. With this plan, expect to lose about 2 to 2.5 pounds each week, so 0.9 to 1.2 kilos. Now, if you're already at 15 to 20% body fat, things need to be a bit slower. In this range, you're close to seeing your abs, or maybe you can already see the top row. So in this category, I would recommend losing 1 to 1.5 pounds, or around 0.5 to 0.7 kilos per week. The lower your body fat percentage gets, the more stubborn the last few pounds become, and the margin of error gets smaller. Now here's the reality. More than 90% of people trying to lose weight fast end up regaining all of it. And one of the main reasons for that is because they don't just lose fat, they lose a lot of lean muscle. So the plan I'm gonna give you aims to balance aggressive fat loss with muscle preservation, because the goal should never be to lose weight at all costs. Losing muscle tissue will slow down your metabolism and massively increase risk of weight regain. So if you follow this plan, if you hit the like button, you're not just gonna speed up fat loss, you're gonna end up with more muscle and you're gonna prevent fat regain. Now, the first step of the plan is once a week to implement a strategy called PSMF, which stands for Protein Sparing Modified Fast. I personally use this strategy many times over the years, and I found it very effective at speeding up fat loss. In a nutshell, a PSMF is a very low calorie day where your entire diet is based on lean protein and green vegetables with minimal carbs and fats. It's one day of the week, and I'm going to give you the exact calorie and macro targets later once we get into calculated nutrition. I found PSMF to work the best on days that I'm very busy and I have very little time to think about food. And I also normally do it on non-workout days. For reducing hunger, I found it very helpful to increase intake of water, sparkling water, tea, and sometimes add a few zero-calorie drinks. This makes the day much more manageable. Having said that, just eating more protein is not enough to maintain muscle during a caloric deficit, because for our bodies, it's either use it or lose it. And that's why lifting weights is non-negotiable if you want to lose body fat without losing muscle. So the second part of our plan is to do resistance training at least 3 to 4 times per week. If you're doing 4 days per week, I recommend an upper-lower split. And if you're doing 3 days per week, I would suggest doing full body workouts. Now, the most important things in the gym are to train all your major muscle groups, so no skipping leg day, using good form, and focusing on getting stronger over time. Any muscle that isn't being trained is at a risk of loss during an aggressive diet. That's why compound exercises where you train multiple muscles at once will give you the highest return on investment. At the very minimum, your lifting routine should include a vertical pull like a lat pull down or a pull-up, a horizontal pull like a row, a vertical press like a shoulder press, a horizontal press like a bench press, and then a compound exercise for your quads like a squat, hack squat, or leg press, and then a variation of a deadlift. My favorite is the Romanian deadlift, and if you can't deadlift due to back issues, you can add extra sets of leg curls and glute exercises to strengthen your posterior chain. So now that we've set things up for retaining muscle, there's one more thing you can do to accelerate your fat loss even more, and it's something I made videos about before, and it's what helps me get to 10% body fat, and that's part 3 of our plan, which is implementing a high step count. At a minimum, for rapid fat loss, I recommend getting 10,000 steps per day. If you have the time, increase that to 12 to 15K steps per day to really speed things up. And look, getting this many steps can be pretty difficult, especially if you're like most people who average about 4,000 to 5,000 steps per day. You're aiming to at least double that. In order for that to happen, you have to make movement a natural part of your daily routine. This means you can't really be sitting around for very long periods of time. You have to be thinking about how you can move more. If you're stuck inside or if it's cold outside, start, you can get yourself a walking pad or hop on a treadmill after your workouts. You can add extra steps while you're between your sets in the gym. You can park the car a little bit further away. You can walk while you're doing your phone calls. You can take walking meetings for work. You can walk while listening to audiobooks. You should always be looking for opportunities to add extra steps. It's pretty easy to track on your phone even if you don't have any kind of wearable, and it makes a huge difference. Now, with that foundation in place, let's get into the most important part of the plan, which is nutrition. What you eat and how much you eat is responsible for 70 to 80% of your results. The bottom line is, to get lean, you need to fix what's going on in the kitchen. So let's dive into some specific numbers. For your calories, I want you to take your goal weight in pounds and multiply that by 10. For example, if you weigh 200, you want to go to 180, take 180, multiply by 10, and that gives you 1800 calories per day to start off with. From there, you adjust it based on how your body responds. If you're not losing weight fast enough after the first week, cut 100 to 150 calories. If you're losing weight too fast, add 100 to 150 calories. For your protein, I suggest getting 1 gram per pound of your goal weight. So if your goal weight is 180 pounds, you get 180 grams of protein per day. And then you divide the rest of the calories between carbs and fats depending on your preferences. I suggest a minimum of 0.3 grams per pound of your goal body weight in fats. So 180 times 0.3 would be 54 grams of fats as a minimum per day. And then you can really allocate it between fats and carbs, even changing it between the days depending on what you eat. But I would recommend sticking to that minimum for hormonal health. Now, during your PSMF days, your calorie goal will be 1000 calories per day, and that's to create an even bigger caloric deficit. Protein will stay at 1 gram per pound of goal body weight, and your carbs and your fats will be no more than 10 to 20 grams for that particular day. A day like that is really there just to create an even larger caloric deficit, and it's only once a week. And the combination of all these parts should really set you up for the fastest way to lose your first 20 pounds. And look, some of these numbers are very aggressive, and this is going to be very hard. There are going to be days where you're going to be very tired, hungry, tempted to quit. And remember, you're here because you wanted fast results and you're willing to put in the work. So during those hard days, remember your why, and also remember that this isn't something you're going to be doing forever. Once you drop the first 20 pounds, you should transition into a plan that's more sustainable long-term to help you get rid of whatever fat is left and then to keep that fat off. And if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to leave a video here for you to check out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's scientifically proven to boost fat loss. And if you're interested in coaching and working with me directly on your fitness journey, details for coaching are in the description below, so check those out as well. And I'm going to see you in my next video.